Today marks 1 year since the UK became the first country in the world to approve the Pfizer-BioNTech coronavirus jab, paving the way for mass vaccination. A week later, the first dose was administered to Margaret Keenan in Coventry. Let's remind ourselves of those events.
Good morning, watching BBC Breakfast, and we have some breaking news for you this morning because in the last few minutes we've heard that the first coronavirus vaccine has been approved for use in the UK.
This has been manufactured by the US pharmaceutical company Pfizer and its partner BioNTech.
Help is on its way. When this vaccine is rolled out, things will get better and we'll start that process next week.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 8th of December. Our top story. In the last few minutes, the UK's mass vaccination programme against coronavirus has begun.
This is Margaret Keenan, who you can see there. She is 90. She's 91 next week, actually. She was the first person to receive the Pfizer-BioNTech jab at the University College Hospital in Coventry. And the Prime Minister has called it a huge step forward in the fight against the disease.
A year on, our medical editor Fergus Walsh has been speaking to Pfizer's chief executive Alvert Bourla. In the interview, which took place before the Omicron variant was identified, Fergus began by asking him where the world would be without COVID vaccines.
I think we'd be in a very, very difficult position. I think the fundamental structure of our society would be threatened. I think we would be counting trillions of economic losses. I think we would have challenged human relationships. I think we would have seen things that we only see on movies.
Now, in October, the FDA, the American regulator, approved your vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds after successful trials. Do you think immunising that age group is likely to happen in the UK and Europe?
I believe it's a very good idea. I think that COVID in schools is thriving. I believe that this is disturbing significantly the education system. And there are kids that will have severe symptoms. So there is no doubt in my mind that the benefits completely are in favor of doing it.
Now, you're also doing trials in the under 5s. Do you think eventually we'll see the under 5s being immunised?
We wait to see the studies. We are using very, very small doses. So we want to make sure that we are perfectly safe. The question is, are we going to be effective in those low doses? And this is what we are waiting to see. If the studies prove that these very low doses are effective in these kids, I think it is a very good way to utilize those vaccines to protect them.
Now, half the world's population, roughly, has now received at least one dose of COVID vaccine. But in the poorest nations, it's something like 1 in 20 people. Is it fair to say that the richer nations have grabbed most of the vaccine doses and you, in a sense, have helped them?
Yes. I think it is fair to say that the rich nations utilized first the vaccine. In fact, the poor countries we gave from day one at cost. And by the way, the rich countries, we gave it at the cost of a takeaway meal. So its price was not an issue. But availability was limited, and the rich countries placed orders, like UK, very early.
How do you think anti-vax stories that appear should best be countered?
There is a number of people that they are afraid of the vaccine. Others are afraid about the COVID. They're afraid more of the vaccine. And they are not going to be convinced with scientific arguments. I think for those that are just afraid, the only emotion of human beings that is stronger than fear is love. So I'm using always this argument that the decision to get or not a vaccine is not going to influence only your health. It's going to affect the health of others, and particularly the health of the people you love the most, because they are the ones that you will interact. So take the courage to overcome your fears and do the right thing.